Hear more on the Casey Anthony trial, her first words in the trial, her tears, and Dr. Phil McGraw on her credibility on the stand.
Her likability is not good right now. Her believability, her credibility is not good right now, and it will do nothing but go down if she takes the stand.
The previous
expert who said that a young parent reacting to a child's death may engage in very risky behavior, might even deny the child has died. Not everyone agrees, though. Earlier, I spoke with syndicated talk show host and psychologist Dr. Phil McGraw. He used to make a living as a jury consultant. So, Dr. Phil, the defense is alleging, as you know, that Casey Anthony was sexually abused by her father starting when she was 8 years old, and that this alleged abuse is why she was able to disconnect and lie repeatedly about Kaylee's disappearance. There's no evidence of sexual abuse at this point, but does that make any sense to you? I mean, is that common among victims of abuse?
Well, it's not. And look, Anderson, I don't ever want to do anything to trivialize if a child has been molested in any way. But in this case, first off, A, we don't know that that took place. It came out very conveniently, timing-wise, to try and explain the unexplainable. But also, let me tell you, the fact that someone has been sexually abused when they're a child in no way justifies, causes, or underwrites the kind of behavior that she is being accused of here. And it is a complete disconnect. I am surprised that this is their strategy. I think it is desperate, and I think it will not resonate with the jury.
It was also interesting today, George Anthony took the stand again, denied sexually abusing his daughter, broke down when answering questions. I mean, it was very emotional. He talked about this attempted suicide effort that he made after Kaylee's remains were found. You know, he was sobbing on the stand. And it was interesting to watch Casey. She sat there kind of expressionless. I mean, I guess you can't put too much on how somebody reacts under a pressure situation, but does that signal any red flags to you?
In January.
Well, it does at many levels, and I think you have to go back and what everybody is doing right now, every parent in America, and not just parents, but certainly parents, are asking themselves how out of touch, how disconnected, how bizarre their thinking would have to be to have done something like she is accused of doing. And I can tell you that in order to do that, to make that okay in your mind, you've got to be way out of touch with reality. You've got to be so narcissistically self-absorbed that you could unplug from virtually anything. And the fact that she is emotionless when she sees her father in meltdown, at this point, that just tells me that we're seeing more of the behavior that she is reported to have exhibited when her child first went missing. She was out partying, she was laughing, she was joking with people, when allegedly her child's body was in the trunk of her car. So you just have to ask yourself, how strange does your thinking have to be in order for that to happen? So for her to be emotionless just with her father on the stand is no stretch for her, given what she's done so far.
It's interesting because we saw this grief counselor on the stand late today who was talking about how different people react in different ways to grief and handle grief, and that kind of acting out in different ways, you know, can be a normal way some people handle grief. Did that ring true to you?
Well, it doesn't ring true to me. Look, you know, one of the things that I'm concerned about, and as you know, I've spent a major portion of my career as a litigation consultant. I did postdoctoral training as a forensic psychologist, so I've been in these situations a lot. I've evaluated these people. I've looked at what the cause and effect are when people do the things that they're often accused of doing. And when you're trying to connect dots that are so far apart, it just smacks of desperation.
They're trying to throw up whatever they can to see what sticks, basically.
They can. It's a smokescreen. She was molested. Look, how many people have tragically been molested in their life that don't become murderers, that don't do this kind of unconscionable actions that she is accused of doing? I mean, it's just a huge stretch, and I think that it is an insult to the jury. And Anderson, I've worked with juries for years and years, and I am a huge fan of the jury system. I think they basically get it right. I think they really try to get it right. And I think that if people think that this jury is buying this, I see no evidence whatsoever that this is doing anything except delaying the inevitable.
It's also interesting because, I mean, and the jury has seen these jailhouse videos of Casey interacting with her family back in 2008 before Kaylee's body was found. And in the exchanges, I mean, her dad and her appear very close, telling each other how much they love each other. He tells her how he'd do anything to help her. She tells him he's the best father, the best grandfather. That's got to have an impact on the jury now that they have seen these and that the defense hasn't presented any evidence of any kind of sexual abuse.
It just doesn't fit, does it? And I can assure you there's been a lot of controversy about whether she is going to testify in this case or not. I think she absolutely will not. And if the defense puts her on the stand, I think it's tantamount to malpractice. I think to do so, there are questions that she just simply doesn't have answers to. Anderson, you can't make sense out of nonsense. And what they're going to ask her to do, if they were to put her on the stand, is to try to make sense out of a menagerie of lies, a menagerie of misdirection ploys with the authorities at the time that she simply doesn't have any answers for. And her likability is not good right now. Her believability, her credibility is not good right now, and it will do nothing but go down if she takes the stand. There is no way she should take the witness stand, and I don't believe that she will.
Dr. Phil, always good to talk to you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Anderson.